My cruel mother-in-law stood before me, her piercing eyes demanding $500,000 to save the family business. "It's your duty to help," she hissed, ignoring my refusal and my need to protect our savings for my unborn baby. Her fury boiled over, and before I could react, she pushed me into the icy pool, fully aware I was pregnant, leaving me gasping and terrified for my child. My name is Clara, and I'm a 39-year-old single mother living in Chicago. I work as a freelance interior designer, designing homes and spaces that reflect my clients' dreams. While my work is fulfilling, my life truly revolves around my 15-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily is my greatest joy and strength. We live in a small but cozy apartment that we've made our own. The walls are adorned with her drawings and my design sketches, creating a home filled with warmth and creativity. Though modest, our apartment is always alive with laughter and shared moments that keep us close. Life wasn't always this way. 3 years ago, my husband Daniel died in a car accident, leaving a hole in our lives that can never fully heal. I'll never forget the night I received the news. I had been working late on a project, and when I arrived home, a police officer stood at my door. The weight of his words shattered my world. Since then, I've had to rebuild everything for Lily and myself. Raising Lily alone has been both challenging and rewarding. She's an intelligent, compassionate teenager with a love for music and art. Despite our loss, she's shown remarkable resilience, often encouraging me to stay strong when I feel overwhelmed. In many ways, Lily is not just my daughter, but my partner in life. It was a warm afternoon when Lily and I decided to visit the nearby park. It was our usual weekend routine, a chance to unwind and enjoy the outdoors. While I sat on a bench with a book in hand, Lily joined the other kids at the swings. Her laughter echoed across the park, bringing a smile to my face. I glanced up just as Lily lost her balance, her foot slipping as she tried to jump off the swing. My heart stopped as I watched her stumble forward. Before I could react, a man nearby rushed to her side, catching her just in time. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice calm and reassuring as he helped Lily to her feet. "Yeah, I think so," Lily replied, brushing herself off. She looked a little shaken but unhurt. "Thank you," I said as I walked over, my voice filled with relief. "You were so quick. I don't know what would have happened if you weren't here." "It's no trouble," he replied with a warm smile. "I'm Alex, by the way." "Clara," I said, extending my hand. "This is Lily, my daughter." Lily gave a small wave before heading back to the swings, clearly eager to move past the mishap. I stayed back to thank Alex properly, grateful for his quick actions. As we talked, I learned that Alex was a corporate lawyer in his mid-30s. He often visited the park after work to clear his mind. I shared a bit about my life as a single mother and my work as a freelance interior designer. He listened intently, asking thoughtful questions that put me at ease. The conversation with Alex flowed naturally, and before I realized it, we had been talking for nearly half an hour. His calm demeanor and genuine interest made it easy to open up, something I hadn't done with anyone in a long time. Eventually, Lily ran over, ready to head home. As Alex and I said our goodbyes, he handed me his card. "In case you ever need a lawyer or someone to catch another close call," he joked lightly. I laughed, thanking him again. As Lily and I walked home, I couldn't help but think about how unexpected encounters could lead to new beginnings. Over the following weeks, Alex and I kept in touch. At first, it was casual, an occasional text or call to check in. Then, one sunny Saturday, Alex invited Lily and me to join him at the park for a picnic. I hesitated briefly but decided it would be a nice change for both of us. That afternoon, Alex arrived with a picnic basket filled with sandwiches, fruit, and snacks. Lily was immediately drawn to him, her usual shyness fading as they laughed over a game of frisbee. Watching them interact, I couldn't help but smile. Alex had a way of making people feel comfortable, and Lily seemed to trust him almost instantly. After the game, we sat on the blanket, enjoying the meal. Alex asked Lily about her interests, and she excitedly shared her love for drawing and music. She's quite talented, I added, proud of her creativity. She gets that from you, I'm sure, Alex said, glancing at me with a kind smile. His words caught me off guard, and for a moment, I felt a warmth I hadn't experienced in years. As the weeks went by, Alex became more present in our lives. He joined us for dinners at our apartment, bringing thoughtful gifts for Lily, like a sketchbook or her favorite snacks. Each gesture showed how much he cared, not just for me, but for my daughter as well. One evening, after Lily had gone to bed, Alex and I sat together on the couch, sipping coffee. "You're doing an incredible job with Lily," he said. "She's such a bright, kind kid, and that's a reflection of you." His words meant more than I could express. "Thank you," I said quietly. "It hasn't been easy, but she's my reason for everything." Alex nodded, his expression sincere. "I can see that. She's lucky to have you." For the first time in a long while, I felt myself letting my guard down. Alex's kindness and genuine interest in our lives were breaking through the walls I'd built since Daniel's death. A part of me dared to hope that happiness might be possible again. As Alex left that evening, I caught myself smiling. Life was beginning to feel a little brighter. After a few months of getting to know Alex, he suggested that I meet his mother, Margaret. "She's a strong personality," he admitted with a sheepish smile. "But she means well." I wasn't so sure. The idea of meeting her made me nervous, but I agreed. I wanted to show Alex that I was serious about our relationship. The meeting took place at Margaret's home, a grand, meticulously decorated house that immediately reflected her sharp and exacting nature. As Alex and I stepped inside, Margaret greeted us with a firm handshake and an appraising look that made me feel small under her scrutiny. "Clara, it's nice to meet you," Margaret said, her tone polite but distant. "Alex has spoken about you." "Thank you for having us," I replied, trying to match her formality. We sat in the living room, sipping tea from delicate china cups. Margaret wasted no time diving into questions about my life. "You're an interior designer?" she asked, her tone laced with skepticism. "Yes," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I work freelance, so my schedule is flexible for my daughter Lily." Margaret's gaze lingered on me for a moment before she spoke. "Freelancing must be unstable. Raising a teenager requires a lot of resources. Are you managing well on your own?" The implication behind her words stung, but I forced myself to stay calm. "It can be challenging," I admitted, "but I've always ensured Lily has everything she needs." Margaret's expression didn't soften. "And what about Alex's role in all this? You seem quite comfortable letting him step in." "Mom, that's enough," Alex interjected, his voice firm. "Clara isn't here to be interrogated." Margaret raised an eyebrow, but said nothing more. The tension in the room was palpable, and I silently wished for the visit to end. Despite Alex's support, I could see Margaret's disapproval clearly etched in her demeanor. When we finally left, Alex apologized. "I'm so sorry about that," he said. "She can be tough, but I won't let her or anyone else dictate how I feel about you." His words were reassuring, but I couldn't shake the discomfort from the encounter. Meeting Margaret had been far from pleasant, and I knew this wouldn't be the last time we clashed. As my relationship with Alex deepened, he began spending more time at my apartment. Lily grew increasingly fond of him, and their bond brought joy to my heart. It wasn't long before Alex brought up the idea of us moving in together. "I want us to be a family," he said one evening as we sat together after dinner. "You and Lily are already such a big part of my life. I'd like us to share a home." I hesitated, unsure about the change. Moving in with Alex felt like a big step, especially for Lily. "It's a lot to think about," I said cautiously. "I need to make sure it's the right decision for her." "I understand," Alex said, his tone gentle. "Take your time. I want what's best for both of you. After weeks of consideration, I decided to take the leap. Lily was excited about the move, and Alex made every effort to ensure the transition was smooth. His house became our home, filled with laughter and warmth. I started to believe we could truly build a future together. Life began to settle into a comfortable rhythm. Alex's support, Lily's happiness, and the warmth of our new home brought me a sense of stability I hadn't felt in years. Then, life surprised us again. One morning, I woke up feeling unusually tired and nauseous. The symptoms persisted for days, and I decided to take a pregnancy test. My hands trembled as I stared at the positive result. A whirlwind of emotions consumed me: excitement, fear, and uncertainty. I immediately called Alex. "I need to tell you something," I said nervously when he answered. "What is it?" he asked, concern in his voice. "I'm pregnant," I blurted out, my heart racing as I waited for his reaction. There was a pause before Alex's voice filled with joy. "Clara, that's amazing. We're having a baby." His excitement was infectious, and for a moment, all my fears melted away. Alex suggested we tell Margaret the news, hoping it might soften her disapproval. Though reluctant, I agreed. When we visited her, Alex couldn't contain his happiness. "Mom, Clara and I are having a baby," he announced with a wide smile. Margaret's reaction was far from what we'd hoped. Her face hardened, and her voice dripped with disdain. "Is this supposed to make me change my opinion of her?" "How convenient," she said, glaring at me. "Mom, that's enough," Alex said firmly. "Clara and I are building a family, and your negativity isn't welcome." Despite her cold response, Alex remained steadfast in his support. His love and excitement about the baby gave me the strength to look past Margaret's hostility and focus on the future we were building. Several weeks after sharing the news of my pregnancy, Margaret invited Alex and me to dinner. Although I was hesitant to go, Alex assured me it would be a simple family gathering. "She's trying," he said. "Maybe this is her way of making peace." We arrived at her home, and the evening began with polite conversation over an elaborate meal. Margaret maintained a civil tone, but her sharp glances in my direction revealed her lingering disapproval. I kept my focus on Alex, hoping to get through the evening without conflict. As dessert was served, Margaret's demeanor shifted. She cleared her throat and addressed Alex directly. "There's something I need to discuss," she said, her tone serious. Alex set his fork down, sensing the weight of her words. "What's on your mind?" Margaret leaned forward. "The family business is struggling," she began. "Without an immediate infusion of $500,000, we'll have no choice but to shut it down. This is your father's legacy, Alex. You have a responsibility to save it." Alex's expression tightened, and I could see the conflict in his eyes. "Mom, I understand the importance of the business," he said cautiously, "but Clara and I are preparing for the baby. Our savings are for our future." Margaret's sharp gaze turned to me. "Of course," she said with a cold smile. "It's her fault, isn't it? She's trying to hoard everything for herself and that child." Her words stung, but I refused to let her intimidate me. "This isn't about me," I said firmly. "We need to make decisions that are best for the family, and maybe selling the business is the better option." Margaret's face flushed with anger. "Selling? How dare you suggest such a thing?" she snapped, her voice rising. "You have no right to interfere in matters that don't concern you." "Mom, stop," Alex said, his voice steady but firm. "Clara is part of this family, and she has every right to share her thoughts." The tension at the table was unbearable. After dinner, I excused myself to get some air, hoping to calm my nerves. As I stepped into the cool night, I knew this conflict was far from over. Margaret's anger was only beginning to boil over, and I could feel the storm brewing. After the tense dinner, I stepped into Margaret's backyard, hoping to find some peace. The cool night air and soft glow of the pool calmed my nerves, but I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Margaret's harsh words replayed in my mind. and I wondered how Alex and I would navigate her relentless disapproval. As I stood by the pool, staring at the water's surface, I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps behind me. I turned to see Margaret approaching, her face a mask of barely concealed fury. "You don't belong in this family," she hissed, her voice low but filled with venom. "You've turned my son against me, and now you're trying to destroy everything his father built." I took a deep breath, determined to stay calm. "Margaret, I'm not trying to take anything away from you," I said evenly. "I love Alex, and I want what's best for all of us." Her expression darkened. "Liar," she snapped. "You've manipulated him, filling his head with your selfish ideas. Selling the business? How dare you even suggest such a thing?" "Margaret, this isn't about me," I replied, my voice steady. "The business is failing, and selling might be the only way to preserve what's left. Alex and I need to focus on our family, on the baby." At the mention of the baby, her fury erupted. "That child is nothing but your ticket into this family," she screamed. Before I could react, she lunged forward and shoved me hard. The force sent me stumbling backward. I gasped as I lost my balance and plunged into the pool. The icy water shocked my body, and panic set in as I struggled to stay afloat. My thoughts raced to the baby, fear overwhelming me. "Help!" I gasped, flailing in the water, my strength quickly fading. Moments later, I heard Alex's voice. "Clara!" he shouted, running to the edge of the pool. He dove in without hesitation, pulling me to safety. Coughing and shivering, I clung to him as he helped me out of the water. "What happened?" he demanded, his voice a mix of panic and anger. "She pushed me," I whispered, my body trembling. Alex turned to his mother, his face pale with fury. "Mom, how could you? She's pregnant. You could have killed her and the baby." Margaret's expression was icy. "She deserved it," she said coldly. "She's ruined everything." Alex's jaw clenched. "This ends now," he said, his voice filled with resolve. "I'm calling the police." When I opened my eyes, the sterile white walls of a hospital room came into focus. My body ached, and the events of the previous night came rushing back. Panic gripped me as I thought of the baby. "Clara!" Alex's voice broke through my fear. He sat beside me, gripping my hand tightly, his face pale and his eyes red-rimmed. "You're awake." "What happened?" I croaked, my throat dry and voice weak. "You're in the hospital," he explained gently, helping me sit up. "After Mom pushed you into the pool, you nearly drowned. The doctors had to perform an emergency procedure to save you and the baby." My heart pounded. Is the baby okay?" I whispered, tears welling in my eyes. Alex's expression softened, and a small smile broke through his worry. "Yes, Clara, he's okay, a healthy baby boy." Relief washed over me, and tears streamed down my face. "I want to see him," I said, my voice trembling. Moments later, a nurse entered, carrying a tiny bundle wrapped in a soft blue blanket. "Here's your little one," she said with a warm smile, gently placing him in my arms. The moment I held him, an overwhelming wave of love and gratitude consumed me. His tiny hand curled around my finger, and I whispered, "You're my miracle. I'll never let anything happen to you." Alex leaned in, his arm around me, gazing at our son. "We'll name him Matthew," he said softly, "after my father." I nodded, the name feeling perfect. "Matthew," I repeated, holding him close. Later that day, Alex told me what had happened after he pulled me from the pool. "I called the police," he said firmly. "Mom has been arrested for assault and endangering your life and Matthew's." Tears welled in my eyes again. "Alex, I never wanted it to come to this," I said, my voice shaky. "I didn't want to tear your family apart." He took my hand, his expression resolute. "You and Matthew are my family now. What she did was unforgivable. She needs to face the consequences." Though I felt conflicted, I knew Alex was right. Margaret had crossed a line, and justice had to be served for the safety of our family. Margaret's arrest made headlines, and the case quickly became a topic of public interest. The trial was scheduled within weeks, and the courtroom was packed with reporters eager to cover the dramatic story of a wealthy matriarch accused of assaulting her son's pregnant fiancée. From the start, Margaret remained unapologetic. She sat in the defendant's chair, her expression cold and defiant. When the prosecutor questioned her actions, she maintained her stance, blaming me for all the family's troubles. "That woman is a manipulator," she declared. "She's destroyed my family and tarnished my husband's legacy." Her words stung, but I held my head high. The evidence against her was overwhelming. Witnesses at the dinner testified about the heated argument and Margaret's hostility. Alex recounted the moments leading up to the attack and described how he pulled me from the pool, fearing for my life and the babies. The prosecutor presented medical reports detailing the emergency procedure required to save both me and Matthew. The testimony painted a clear picture of Margaret's reckless and dangerous behavior. During cross-examination, Margaret's defense tried to portray her as a misunderstood woman acting out of desperation to save her family's business. But her lack of remorse and refusal to accept responsibility undermined their arguments. When it was my turn to testify, I focused on the facts. I described the confrontation by the pool and the terror I felt as I struggled in the water, fearing for my baby. "Her actions could have cost me everything," I said firmly, my voice steady despite the emotions churning inside me. "No one has the right to put another person's life in danger like that." The judge's verdict was swift and decisive. The defendant is sentenced to 5 years in prison for aggravated assault and reckless endangerment, he declared. As the sentence was read, Margaret showed no reaction, her expression as icy as ever. But for me, the weight of fear and uncertainty lifted. Justice had been served. As we left the courthouse, reporters surrounded us. "Mrs. Green, how do you feel about the verdict?" one asked, shoving a microphone toward me. I met their gaze, my voice calm and clear. "I did what any mother would do. I protected my child. My focus is on my family and our future." Alex stood by my side, holding Matthew, his voice steady. "We'll move forward together, stronger than ever." In the months following the trial, life gradually returned to normal. Margaret's absence left a void in Alex's life, but he remained steadfast in his commitment to our family. He threw himself into his work, and I focused on finding balance between motherhood and my career as an interior designer. Our days were filled with small but meaningful milestones. Lily took on the role of a caring older sister, spending time with Matthew and helping me whenever I needed an extra hand. Her bond with Alex deepened as well, and I often caught them laughing over inside jokes or working on small projects around the house. One evening, as I rocked Matthew to sleep, Alex came into the room. He stood silently for a moment, watching me hold our son. "You've brought so much light into my life," he said softly. "I can't imagine a better partner or mother for our children." His words filled my heart with warmth. Despite the challenges we had faced, our bond had only grown stronger. We had built a life rooted in love, trust, and resilience. A life I hadn't dared to hope for after Daniel's death. As I resumed my design work, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. My projects became a reflection of the happiness I'd found, and my clients noticed the care and passion in every detail. Alex, too, thrived in his career, taking on new cases and building a reputation as a compassionate yet determined lawyer. One evening, as we gathered in the living room, Lily ran in, her face glowing with excitement. "Mom, Matthew just crawled for the first time," she exclaimed. I rushed to see him, tears of joy streaming down my face as I watched my baby boy move across the floor. Alex joined us, his arm around my shoulder, a proud smile on his face. "He's just getting started," he said with a chuckle. Looking at Lily and Matthew, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. Life hadn't been easy, but together, we had overcome every obstacle. As a family, we had found hope, love, and the strength to face whatever lay ahead. This was the life I had fought for, and it was more than I could have ever imagined. Thank you so much for joining me on Clara's journey, a story of resilience, love, and the strength to overcome life's challenges. If this story touched your heart, made you smile, or even brought a tear to your eye, I'd love to hear from you. Your thoughts mean the world to me and inspire me to keep creating stories that resonate with you. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the story. It's a small click for you, but a huge encouragement for me. Leave a comment below and share your favorite moment or what you would do if you were in Clara's shoes. I love reading your insights and connecting with you. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new story. We're building a community here, one story at a time, and I'd be thrilled to have you along for the journey. Let's keep these stories alive together. Your support is what makes it all possible. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to share the next chapter of inspiration with you.